Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Ryan Pacatte. I'm back to do another installment of the Avon Update Nate. Today's Update Nate is going to focus completely on what the topics of information are for the community information sessions. We posted links to the sessions. One took place last night, another one is taking place this afternoon, and a third one will take place next week. However, we recognize that they may not fit everyone's schedule, so I wanted to do this recording to at least get the information out there, and then as part of the presentation, I'm going to share several ways that you can get your questions answered should you have questions. I'm going to get to it right now and try to get through this information quickly, and we will go ahead and try to get this posted as quickly as we can. I do need to let you know that I am having some technical difficulties today in terms of sharing the information to the web. We're having some sporadic internet, so we're going to get it posted as quickly as we can. So again, this is an overview of the information that's covered in the community information sessions that are being presented. The format's going to be a brief presentation followed by a moderated session. Mr. Ellis will mute people and look to help us answer some questions. I do want to let you know that more information is being posted by the end of the week. We have a variety of additional supplemental plans that we're going to be posting. Within the chat last evening, some other members of the leadership team were also available to answer questions, so I might answer a question and then additional clarity would be given at the building level. I talk a little bit about some pet peeves in a question and answer format. I try to be efficient in answering questions, and I try to move through the material because the most important part is that people have a chance to ask their questions, and if we're long-winded or if we take too long, then those questions don't get asked, so therefore they can't get answered. I do have some experience running some larger group sessions and facilitating some large group questions, and I encourage folks who may have a question to think of 3 possible avenues for their question. One would be a campfire question. A campfire question, picture people being around the campfire, and we all need to have the information before we venture off into the woods because it's important that we have the same information before we start. A parking lot question would be something that's important information for us to have, but we may not have that information until a later date. We might need it at a later date, but we don't need to take our time on it right now. And a back channel question would be when that thought comes into mind, you know what, this might be just me. This is a question that I have. It might be about my individual classroom. It might be about my individual student. And it might be the best avenue for me to get an answer to that question might be through a different format. When we are in the session, we're going to invite people to ask questions either by unmuting and asking a question at the end of the presentation or by using the chat feature, and Mr. Ellis scrolls through the chat feature and we try to answer as many questions as we can. If this isn't the right format or the parent format, the community information session is not the right format, then we are posting an FAQ document tomorrow, Friday, and at the bottom of that document, there's a link that allows you to ask additional questions. We're going to monitor that link and make sure that we're answering questions as quickly as we can. So we're confident that the materials that we're putting out in the next couple of days will continue to clarify information for you, but please reach out if you have something specific that you need an answer to. As we begin this work, I want to just take you down the path that we've been walking. So about a month ago, we were asked to make plans for opening schools. So we were given the charge to open schools, and then we were told that we might get additional guidance in early August. Governor Cuomo last Friday did state that we can go ahead and open our schools, and each school can develop a plan that fits its current circumstance. Based on all the information that we have, using the resources from the CDC, from State Ed, from the Department of Health, from the surveys we've gathered, from the communications we've had with those in the region, whether it's the Livingston County Department of Health, Livingston County Schools, or the Genesee Valley BOCES, we have put together a plan that involves students live K-6 5 days a week and students 7-12 in a hybrid model where they'll be in class. They'll receive 5 lessons a week. They'll be in school live 2 days a week, with Wednesdays being a remote learning day for all involved. We've also think it's really important to talk about a mindset of being BPFP. So we want to be positive, be flexible, and be proactive whenever we can be. The work that we've done has been completed through our district-wide safety team. We added additional members to form the COVID opening planning team. That team is met every Thursday for 2 hours. The team has digested all the survey information, all of the guidance documents, and is making recommendations for what opening might look like. Ultimately, the Board of Education and the leadership team are making the decisions about what the plans will look like. Gathering all this information, sorting through this information, and responding to our feedback. Things change rapidly. There are still some important areas of clarification that we are seeking, either through the education field through the medical field or through the legal field in terms of what we can do. So we just need to stay aware that the information continues to evolve. It's based on that I think about the metaphor that's helped me the most, which is this idea, we picture rough seas and rough waters. When a boat stays tied to the pier or stays tied to the dock and those rough seas are happening, that's when a lot of damage can be sustained, because the boat is just crashing into this thing that is supposed to be providing comfort and stability for it, but it just becomes this thing that it keeps thrown against. So I think we have to adapt some of that mindset. We have to cut those lines. A boat actually will do fairly well in some rough waters. Certainly in extreme circumstances, there's certainly threats out there, but a boat that's allowed to float can ride those waves a little bit better. So I think we have to think about letting go of some of those things that have tied us to things that have been comfortable in the past that the current circumstance just won't allow. So thanks for bearing with my metaphor there. It helps me. The student experience, I want to talk about briefly. K-6 students will be in school from roughly 9:05 to roughly 2:35-ish. The K-4 students will be 9:10 to 2:35. The 5-6 students will be 9:05 to 2:30. The student day is shortened a little bit. This is due to transportation needs and also the need for teachers to do some additional planning and collaboration in order to meet the so many diverse needs that are taking place. In the 7 through 12 area, the middle school, high school, the school student day will run from 7:56 to 1:23. And again, that's live 2 days a week, remote learning instruction for 3 lessons a week. The plans have been put out. You can see what's highlighted here on the screen in the black heavy frames is what we plan to do with the live instruction K-6 and the hybrid instruction in the 7-12. This is not necessarily an Avon classroom, but you can see that idea of a positive mindset. I love this, a teacher that took the safety shields, decorated the desks to make them all look like Jeeps. I think that's someone with a clearly primary school or elementary school thinking. And the picture at the top is just a sample of what it might look like at a student desk. For food services, students in K-6, just a reminder, students in K-6 are going to eat food in their classroom. That's where the lunches will be handled, so they can stay in the cohort model. And then it'll be in the dining areas for grades 7 through 12. There'll be 3 separate dining areas. There'll be staggered lunches. We'll mark with the social distancing, and there'll be fewer grab-and-go items for students just to prevent that open spread. One of the most controversial issues is face coverings. I'll do my best to answer these questions as quickly as I can. The guidance from the health departments and state ed recommends face masks at all time and social distancing. So I know that presents a little bit of challenge because we're all concerned about the impact of students wearing masks all day long and teachers wearing masks all day long. And believe me, I get it. I certainly understand. I have some concerns about that also. However, all of the Finger Lakes Department of Health have issued a statement that they feel that, and it's the very first statement that they make, that face covering should be recommended at all times. So we are going to begin the year by requiring face masks at all times. Teachers have the discretion to give a break not longer than 5 minutes when they feel that the students might benefit from a break. I don't want to give the impression that makes masks optional. Masks are not optional at the start of the year. They are going to be required. And we're doing this out of an abundance of safety for students, staff, and faculty members. We recognize that there are other concerns that we might have about it, but at this point in time, we feel the most prudent thing to do is exceed what is truly required and pay attention to what's being recommended by the healthcare community that we're working most closely with. So I just wanted everyone to have the background there. We're going to continue to monitor the data in the region. Every morning I get a report about Livingston County and where we're at with Livingston County in terms of cases in the county. We're expanding that to also look at the region. Currently, there are no cases in Avon. There have not been a live case in Avon since July 21st, and that's exciting. But we have to think about all of our communities and all our family members, where we work, where we live, and the mixing that'll take place when a family that may live in Henrietta has their children going to Rush Henrietta schools, and now that teacher might go home to Henrietta and then be back in here. So they really are interacting with a much larger pool of people who will be coming to the school. So we're going to err on the side of safety right out of the gate. But we're going to monitor it, and we're going to, if we need to get more stringent, we will. If we can loosen up safely, then we will look to do those measures as well. Arrival and dismissal to school. For safety reasons, we're going to curtail visits to school. We're going to ask that all parents, all visitors to school have an appointment and arrange that through the main office before coming to the building. Screening will be required in order to enter the building. We probably will have a higher number of parents driving to school, so we're going to be taking a look at our drop-off and arrival and pickup scenarios to see what adjustments we need to make to look out for a safe and smooth arrival and dismissal. So we're going to continue to look at this and adjust our current procedures. We know that lots of information is coming at folks, and we're going to be posting additional information. Some of this is just designed to be helpful. Some of this is additional requirements from Governor Cuomo. Last Friday, Governor Cuomo said we need to post 3 specific additional plans: a testing plan, a contact tracing plan, and a remote learning plan. Let me tackle the first 2 first. The testing and contact tracing, the schools in Livingston County, as well as the Livingston County Health Department, all feel that that's a function of the healthcare community for COVID testing and contact tracing. Therefore, our plan is to work closely with Livingston County Health Department and make sure that parents have access to information about where testing can be done simply, easily, and cheaply. So we are partnering with Livingston County to make sure that that information is communicated. In regards to contact tracing, this also is a healthcare function. We will partner with Livingston County Health Department in order to carry out any contact tracing that we may need to do as a result of a positive case. The third plan is a remote instruction plan. I want to address this briefly. We started this process by communicating the plans that we have in place to open schools safely. So K-6 Live, 7-12, and a hybrid model. We did not talk about the remote planning option at that time because we needed to get that information out there in order to hear how that's going to impact our faculty and staff and our students. So we are finalizing our remote instruction plan. We will be communicating that information tomorrow, and we're allowing all of next week for families to take a look at that and to see what might meet their needs in terms of a remote learning plan. Our mechanism for activating a remote learning plan is for families to get in touch with the building principals, and we will provide some additional information in that plan. So I don't want you to think that it's not an option at Avon. It certainly is. For planning reasons in regards to staffing and overall number of students, we needed to get a sense of what were the numbers that we were working with. We continue to put out parent and student and staff workshops. They are beginning full force next week. Information about those sessions, those small group live sessions, went out last week at the beginning of this week in the principal's newsletter. There was a link to the schedule, and there's also a link to the registration. We will be putting out more information about this later today, and we're also looking to post the information with the PTA website. A reminder that the first day of school for students has changed. It was listed as the 8th of September. It's now going to be the 9th of September, as we will take the 8th as an additional conference planning day. It's a day that was scheduled for May. We're just moving it up to the beginning of September. Going back, I didn't mention the Avon FAQ document, so frequently asked questions document. A team of folks have been going through and trying to answer as many of the high interest questions as we can. We're going to be posting that document to the website. It's about 7 pages long, and it's hyperlinked so you can get to specific questions and sections to have your questions answered. And at the very bottom, there's also a mechanism for asking an additional question. So if you read through the documents and you don't see the answer you're looking for, please reach out. We're going to monitor that form every day to take a look at the questions that we can answer. And all of the administration team and leadership team are available to answer questions that you might have in regards to specific information about your child or the overall plans. All the contact information is listed here. In addition, the week after next, in addition to doing this broadcast, I'm also going to start what I'm going to call Tent Talk Tuesdays. Tent as in T-E-N-T, like camping, back to that campfire metaphor. I'm putting out my office. I will set up a tent at the north end of the middle school parking lot and be available in the mornings for about a half an hour, and at the end of the day for about a half an hour. If you have an individualized question that I can try to answer for you, I'll be available to try to answer those questions. So with that, I want to thank you very much for your time. I'm going to end the recording and the presentation, and I wish you luck and have a great weekend. We're going to get this posted as soon as we can.